Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, Love Wrestling. It is Thursday evening. It is 8:30, and you know what that means. It is another episode of Between Two Beards. And as you can see, we have a guest again this evening. We have the busy bee, the natural, as you can see on the bottom of the screen. We have Astrid joining us this week. Astrid.
Hashtag Astrid Week.
No.
Astrid, how has this week been? How are you doing?
I went from barely doing anything to having a busy week, but it's been a good busy though. I appreciate the busyness I've had. It's been fun.
Good. Glad to hear it. And then we have, obviously, apparently it says the artificial this evening. Pluggo. How's your week been, bud? How are you?
Man, what's good, JPJ? Astrid, thanks for joining us. I'm good this week. I'm a little tired today. Started a new job, so I'm kind of getting into a new routine. Fine. Whoa! Look, Ed.
We all know
that
there's only one star, and it's this guy.
Yeah,
Right? No, I'm just kidding.
That guy. No, it is true. JPJ. He's the man. No, I'm doing good. Another crazy week of wrestling. I haven't known what to do with my Wednesday, so I've just been standing around my house like this.
It definitely
we're making do.
Yeah, it definitely has an odd feeling when there's no Dynamite on Wednesday. I feel like it's like the perfect midweek just kind of boost to get through the rest of the week, but it's like, like last night I was sitting around. I mean, I had a playoff game to watch the Red Sox absolutely get murdered in, but like other than that, I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything.
You didn't tell the whole story, Tim. What happened with the NCAA picks, Tim?
Oh, who cares about college?
Whoa!
I'm undefeated. Get out of here. I'm from Massachusetts. We don't care about college sports.
I was going to say, you live in a city.
We don't care about college sports in Massachusetts. Anyway, Don, how are you doing, my friend? Thanks for hopping in. Thanks for chatting. Anyway. God. Lots to talk about this week. Lots to talk about today. Big Thursday of news. And then Tim says he doesn't have to tell the whole story, Pluggo. He's the heel here. And then we have Turnbuckle Talk. What's good? Budget killers. Killed the budget again. Astrid.
Yeah,
the asking price went up dramatically since Monday. Dramatically. Star-making performances.
There you go.
I don't like to use the comparison, right? But you remember those memes back in the day where it was like Hulk Hogan before he turned heel, and it was like, that's Astrid. All of a sudden, she's Hollywood. And she's like, I need green M&Ms, only Avion water in the dress. And of course, we're going to do that. We're going to supply our guests with whatever they need so our fans have a killer show. We don't care what Alice and or Spencer says.
Yeah.
Put it in the invoice. Put it to the budget. Sorry, Turnbuckle Talk. We out there spending that cash. Yes, sir.
I think you can speak on this comment here.
Yes.
Explain that comment to the people.
I put the sign up right before the show. As if you've been an avid listener of ours or watcher, I guess I should say of ours since day one, you know that there's this little curly-headed blonde kid that runs in every so often.
Oh, we know.
Yes, we know.
We know.
I try to keep it contained. You know what they say? The Hell in the Cell. It's designed to keep people in. My Hell in the Cell is designed to keep people out, but somehow they managed to get in. His third birthday is tomorrow, so happy birthday, Owen. Daddy loves you a lot. Thank you for coming and crashing the party every so often as I hear him upstairs mad that he can't be down here.
Well, happy birthday to Owen.
Thank you. Owen.
Big three, you said?
The big three.
Wow.
3 years ago, my life got flipped, turned upside down. As we'll quote the freshest Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, yeah. All right. So we had on a busy Thursday today. So we had the PWI Women's 150 was released earlier today. We also had a pretty large WWE event that happened earlier today in Crown Jewel. And then there's a couple conversations we can have regarding that specifically around, we touched on it a little bit last week, Pluggo, you and I with Phil Lindsay, but the Queen's Crown tournament and just...
Which, guys, if we go, 21 minutes.
Oh no,
in
I have
time.
the time. Oh, I have it written down. I have the time
We went
written
longer
down.
than this before we dive into all
Yeah.
these awesome conversations, make sure you like, subscribe, join us, follow us. Let Spencer Love know you want more of the Between Two Beards brand on your TV screens or laptops or wherever you're watching us. Just let Spencer know that the money we're spending tonight on Astrid is money well spent. So
Absolutely.
please hit that like, subscribe button, and all that good stuff. And hit us up in the comments.
Yeah, I had our buddy Tim was providing me the play-by-play of Crown Jewel earlier today when I wasn't able to watch. I went back and I saw some stuff, so I'm not completely blind to the event. I rewatched some of the stuff later on, but I couldn't watch it live. And Tim was kind of giving me the play-by-play throughout the day of what was going on. But I wanted to start with the PWI Women's 150. Obviously, very big deal. I wrote down the top 10. I subscribe, so I'm looking forward to getting my magazine so I can dive into the whole list. I know people are like, reporting pictures of like other wrestlers throughout the list and stuff like that, but I don't have the full list in front of me. But I do have the top 10, so I wanted to go through the top 10 from 10 to 1. And then we can talk about the list as a whole, and if we agree with the number one selection, and kind of, just have a conversation based on that. And I agree with Don. It is great that they got a 150 and not just 100. The higher that number, the better.
Yeah.
Tell me about more wrestlers so I can learn about more wrestlers.
Hey, it might be 200 next year. So
it started at 50, and I think last year, if I'm not mistaken, the year before was the first 100.
Yeah.
So in a short term, that's good. And shout out to our buddy, Mr. Warren Hayes over at Bells to Bells. He'd help contribute with that. I think our former guest, Ella J.
Oh, yeah. She has a whole article in that magazine.
Yeah. A lot of our friends are doing big things. So shout out to all of them.
100%.
Bells to Bells. If you haven't, I'll shamelessly plug Warren stuff. And Kristen Ashley, bellstobells.com, man. It's a great website.
Kristen Ashley was actually on the Renee Paquette oral sessions this week going over the list. So that was a very cool moment for her. And, it's just awesome stuff.
It's awesome stuff all around. So if you love women's wrestling, it's a place to be.
So here is the top 10. We have Raquel Gonzalez coming in at number 10. We have Tam Nakano from Stardom. I don't know much about Stardom. I don't watch Stardom. So I need to throw that out there right at the chute because I don't know much about these performers, and there are 3 Stardom wrestlers in the top 10. Number 8, we had Io Shirai. Number 7, we had, I hope I don't butcher this, but Syuri from Stardom. Number 6 was Sasha Banks. Number 5 was Thunder Rosa. Number 4 was Britt Baker. Number 3 was Deonna Purrazzo. Number 2 was Utami Hayashishita from Stardom. And number 1 on the women's top 150 was Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can't go wrong with Bianca at 1. I had at first, I was it would have been Deonna
for you?
It would have been Deonna.
I had a feeling you were going to lean Deonna for you.
Yeah. One of the two, just because their years have been so well, but knowing how the PWI works and the fact that, she won the Rumble, she won a main event at WrestleMania, and she had a good run. Like, you can't, she put on a hell of a match tonight. You can't argue with it. If you were to tell me, I think they got it right in the top 5. But you could have argued for any one of those women to be one. So
yeah, Astrid, your initial thoughts when you saw the top 10?
Yeah, I was thinking between maybe Bianca or Deonna. I would have been probably a little bit higher, but I was thinking between Bianca and Deonna would have been my number 1 because I feel like they're ones that have been the hottest since that they've been here. So it's exciting to see not a black woman being the number 1 pick of all time. And it's weird seeing the 4 horsewomen kind of spread out this time around in the list. I feel like usually they're a little bit closer up, and this time they're not. It feels strange.
Last year, the top 5 were all WWE women. Yeah. Which, and then you see this year, the diversity in terms of the promotions on the list says an awful lot of, 1, where women's wrestling is going, and 2, that there's more than just the WWE, right? For a long time, PWI was very, because I follow them. It's my favorite thing of the year. I make brackets for all the numbers, and I cry. I just go crazy about it. And it was very kayfabe, right? So like they were like WWE, that's the big dog. But we're starting to see the stardoms of the world, make a rise. AEW's women division has made, and JPJ knows this, leaps and bounds from where it was at the beginning of AEW. It's starting to become just like the best women's wrestling out there. And I see Tim in there with the comment about Rosa being 5. Like Rosa started this thing at like 99 a couple years back to go all the way to 5. And it's hard to put her above some of the other champions on this list, but she's a phenomenal talent as well. Shout out to Thunder Rosa.
What do you think about Leonard's comment saying that Britt should have been number 1?
I'm all about DMD. I thought so. If I was like, so I'm sitting there and I'm looking at my 3, because admittedly too, I don't watch a ton of Stardom, so I don't even want to butcher her name, so I'm not going to say it. But I'm going to go. This is the thing with these kind of lists. I'm going to go check them out. Shout out to my guys at HCW Sports. What's up, boys? Yes, they just had a killer show on the Saturday by HCW in this town. I watched it on Twitch. Anyway, what was I saying? So yeah, Britt, Deanna, Belair. I think those 3. You could have made an argument for each one. I think Britt, the reason maybe she didn't quite get to the number 1 spot is her surge kind of came a little later in their evaluation period. So their evaluation periods are usually like October to October, and I know they waited a little bit to pull the trigger on Britt. So, you know what? Again, I don't think you could argue the top 5 in terms of like if you wanted to put any one of them number 1.
Yep. And HCW says Kenzie Blackheart from HCW should be number 1. Don't know her. Look her up. She's top notch.
I'm going
we all have some homework.
This show, buddy.
We all have some homework to do. Look her up, which I will be once we get off the air tonight.
Again, beauty of the list. I mean, you find, and that's what with the 500 list, and they've started incorporating women into that, which is awesome. But the 500 list, like, I love looking at that back 100 and going, I've never heard that name before. Let me go look this person up. It's a great tool. I know that there's, of course, that fan base that's like, this doesn't mean anything. It's not. It's all, beauty contest. Not beauty in terms of look, but you know what I mean, like popularity contest type thing. But no, it's a cool tool to like get debates going, get discussions going, learn new wrestlers. So, and I'm so happy that we're at 150 for the PWI. That's awesome. Let's keep it going. 200 next year. Calling you out, Warren and Kristen. 200 next year.
Like I said, the more the merrier. The bigger the lists get, the more new wrestlers, like you said, Pluggo, that I've never heard of, that I get to look up and just watch more wrestling. So, I mean, no complaints on my end.
Wrestling is good. Makes a little spinning.
There we go. To answer HCW Sports' question, I honestly do not know. I have not seen the full list. I've only seen the top 10.
I don't know if the full list got officially dropped.
It hasn't. There was a link to buy the magazine. You could buy it online and kind of
see so then it technically did drop in the digital realm, but
you get the digital.
I haven't picked it up yet, but I have seen a few hits, and I can look it up if I need to. But
I want to get a physical copy because I got the one from last year too. So.
I would imagine I get the physical and I get on and I look it up too. I gotta have both. It's collectors. I'd imagine Ruby's on the list though. I mean, she did.
Oh yeah, I would think so.
It would be hard to say she's not, but if we're only talking AEW, it might be very WWE heavy, and she didn't have a great run at the end, so she's probably down there. But we'll look into it. We'll do some research for my boys at HCW.
And thank you for the compliment, HCW. We appreciate you being here. Appreciate you hopping in the chat. Thank you again.
Thank you. Awesome show for you guys on Saturday. I'm still a little bummed that Tony Thunder lost the title. We'll talk about that off air.
And then our buddy Tim says Ruby may not be very high on there this year, but next year she'll be top 10. He's calling it now.
Bold.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Now
Tim likes to call these shots, doesn't he?
Yeah. We got our friend Rye says, I think this is a great list. Honestly, anything that breaks out of the U.S. promotions is fantastic. I feel like where is she? I was going to say this. This was when I was writing down the top 10. He says, I feel like where is Sheeta on this, given they utilized the woman to carry the belt for a year, and almost half of that was 2021. Yeah, she did spring to mind when I was going through this top 10. I was like, all right, obviously Britt 100% is in the top, near the top of the list. But Britt didn't win the title till May.
Right.
Mhm.
So the person that was and it's October. So if you're going year to year, like if we do October, whatever it is, wherever the cutoff is, like Rye says, like Sheeta was the one carrying that belt and that division
And Sheeta
for
was
the
number
majority of the pandemic and well in through almost May's month 5, almost half the year of 2021.
Yeah, she was number 6 on the list last year too.
Yeah, and she's not in the top 10, so she somehow, by carrying the title almost for the full year, dropped. Which, and I get it, like the women's division now is in a much better place than it was throughout much of her reign and stuff. Like there weren't like a ton of big feuds, but she had good matches. And like Rye says, she also defended it pretty regularly. I don't know why she wouldn't be in the top 10. Not saying I could pick one of these 10 to maybe fall out of the top 10, but I did notice, and she might be 11. Who knows? I haven't seen the full list.
Yeah, I was gonna say I went on Twitter and I looked up her name to see what number, and somebody said she's 13. So it's not
13.
bad.
Okay, so she's still near the top 10. So 13, that's a good number. I just think,
I mean,
maybe
Io didn't have
like
the year
Io.
that
Well,
Sheeta did,
she was
but-
the NXT Women's Champion until Mania time, right?
Yeah, it's a you know what? That's a good problem to have, right?
It is.
If you've got
It
if you've got a person at the caliber of Hikaru Shida, and we're like, she's at 13, that's a diss, right? Like that means that women's wrestling is really, it's coming into the forefront here, and it's becoming just wrestling. Like it's almost we're getting close to just dropping the women's part of it, just calling it wrestling. It's gonna be awesome.
Well. So we just talked about the real good of women's wrestling. So now we're going to dive into,
Is it time? And we're bringing it back because Astrid's on?
I want to talk about Crown Jewel. I want to just go over the results, kind of have a little chat about Crown Jewel and that part of it. And then I want to branch off into, it needs to be talked about, all right? And 1 week might not do it justice because we had the longest match in the tournament tonight. Or this afternoon, depending on when you watched it. And it was like not even 5 minutes. So, like, we're going to talk about it. But anyway, so Crown Jewel. Angry Spencer. And yes, as we all should be angry Spencer when it comes to that. Is it cool that they have a tournament? 100%. I was jacked up when they announced they were doing a King of the Ring and a Queen's Crown. I was like, nice. Because I expected them to treat the Queen's Crown tournament the same way they treat the King of the Ring, by letting these people have matches and just go out there and wrestle. And they did not.
Happy.
They did not.
And then,
and it's disheartening, and it's also embarrassing, really. And I feel like and it's just me, and maybe it's because whatever. I just feel like they 100% did it on purpose. Like, I feel insulted. Like, they were like, yeah, no. And they just did it on purpose. It pisses me off. But anyway, Crown Jewel.
It's awesome that... Okay, so Crown Jewel for me is always this weird, like, you watch it.
I agree.
You know what's going on.
There's
but there were
you should feel like a smidge of guilt.
Yes.
Like, I shouldn't be watching this.
But we're gonna all, everybody's gonna talk about it, so we want to be in the know. We want to know what's going on. It's awesome that there was 2 women's matches on this card in Saudi Arabia. That's a huge step. It's awesome that there was a women's referee tonight. That's good that they're letting that happen, because there was a while they wouldn't let that happen. But here's what I don't understand. If you wanted to blow through this tournament, this Queen's Crown tournament, which... whatever, okay, 20 minutes total until today at close. I don't have the exact number, but it's like 20 minutes. Like, why can't you let these women shine in a final? Why can't you make this feel important? The only person that's made this King of the Ring and Queen's Crown tournament matter is Xavier Woods. Is like the only person on WWE television that's making a huge deal about it, saying like, this is his life. Like, tweeted this morning, and then the WWE, like, give give us a chance to see Zelina Vega, who we haven't gotten a chance to see a lot of in the terms of her career. Do like these and like Dewdrop. I hate that name. Piper Nevin is phenomenal. Give these women a 15-minute queen and like make it matter. Have some false finishes. Get us invested. They just they give us these tournaments and then they just like, we're just gonna blow through it. And it pisses me off because we talked about it last week. Like, you have all this talent on your roster. Why do this to them? Did Roman Reigns need a 14-minute entrance today? Like, the entrances for some of these matches, but like Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns' entrance combined is like half the Queen's tournament. Can't you tell them to pick it up just a little bit? So we can get a couple more minutes into the Queen's tournament.
Yep.
Josh, if you got some thoughts and you want to hop in, man, you know you're more than welcome. The door's open. But yeah, I mean, it's just a sad showing. Yeah. You guys, if you want, I don't.
Well, I want to hear. I want to hear Astrid's thoughts. I want to hear Astrid's thoughts
from her perspective, because obviously.
No, it just when they first announced it, I was hoping it would be that opportunity to highlight the ladies we don't get to see highlighted most of the time, like Zelina Vega. Obviously, we've seen her lose most of her matches since she returned, so I was hoping that would be like a good opportunity for that, and then just to like see the times for these matches. I'm like, are we going back to give Divas a chance when the hashtag started? Because that's when this used to be like, and I'm like, how do you say you're part of the women's revolution and then you have less than 5-minute matches on a weekly basis when you know you have time? Cut it from somebody else if you have to, or like, you don't need that much time for entrances. Cut them off if you have to, but at least give us more matches for the ladies. They deserve it at least.
Yeah. Entrances 100%. Are important. Entrances are part of the. And yes, Josh, really, if you want to hop in, by all means, brother. But I mean, entrances are important. But I feel like everything you need to. Hey,
what is this?
We're just letting him hop in. Like, Josh is always our first face-off champion is always welcome.
What the hell? Was not. I didn't even plan. By the way, I didn't plan on this. I didn't plan on just coming in your chat and being like, "I'm getting on your show." But, I mean, whatever.
I sent him the link immediately.
I didn't plan this either.
Same thing. Coming on your show, damn it! I'm like, okay, whoa.
I didn't. I was like, whatever. I mean, I have thoughts on all of this guy. I didn't watch Crown Jewel. Everybody, big surprise, but but I don't know. You keep going. What are you talking about? Queen's Crown, I'm assuming?
Yeah, so the total time for, and yes, this is the question, yeah. Do you feel things may have been different had they done a Queen's Crown tournament as a one-night pay-per-view similar to King of the Ring?
No.
Really?
Because WWE are in this spot at the moment. I have a rant in me, so get ready. Right. I've had this built up for weeks. WWE have prided themselves for the last, how long has this women's evolution been going for? What, like 6 years?
Something like that.
Okay, how did that start? A hashtag, right? Give divas a chance. Blah, 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 blah. We know the story. Stephanie McMahon, the creator of women's wrestling, revolutionized women's wrestling. Blah, blah, blah. So basically, what I think they're trying to do right now is they've gone, okay, maybe the first week of this Queen's Crown tournament, they weren't necessarily... I know I shaved off my beard. I'm sorry. I got the Mo for Movember coming up.
Hey,
I look a bit creepy, and I'm kind of into it. Anyway,
like our gatekeeper in our comments. But go
on. Now, okay, yeah. So maybe the first week of that like minute and a half long bullshit that they gave Liv Morgan and Zelina Vega and all of that, they had like 3 minutes total in 2 matches. I think maybe they've gone, oh, this is getting a lot of steam. Let's keep giving short matches until they start to tell us, oh my God, we want women's wrestling. And then we'll be the savior that comes in and we go, we'll give you women's wrestling. Look at us. Good PR, good press, all of this bullshit. We're giving you 15-minute matches for women now. That's how WWE operate. They go in this cycle. They make you forget. And then they make you scream louder, and then they're the good guys at the end that come in and go, we're giving you what you want. No, you're not. You're just going in this vicious cycle because you thought you could get away with it for a little while. And now you're telling us that you want it. So therefore, we're the good guys that are going to give you what you want. And then we'll come out and Stephanie will come out and go, this isn't a knock on Stephanie. I know it's not just her. But like Stephanie will come out as the spokesperson and be like, we heard you. We heard you want more equality for women. It's bullshit. It's the same bullshit that we're going to get every few years. And if people don't realize that with WWE, then they're stupid. No offense. It's just how it is. And it's just like so irritating towards me because there has never been more talent. Let's just talk about the females right now. But there's never been more talent within the division all throughout WWE than right now. Look at some of the talent. You have the best women's wrestlers in the world in one spot. Yes, okay, all due respect to Deonna Purrazzo and Britt Baker and all of these other amazing women. But collectively, you have Charlotte Flair, you have Sasha Banks, you have Becky Lynch, you have Bayley, you have Zelina Vega, you have Doudrop, Liv Morgan, Carmella, all of these women. Every single woman right there are all so different from one another. Not one of those women are the same. They're not like just interchangeable women that they have right now. And you're booking people like Toni Storm, who I think is par for par one of the better wrestlers in the world.
100%.
And you're booking her in a 1.5-minute first round match when your counterparts in the King of the Ring are getting double segments. And like people come at me for this, and people said when I said these should be getting the same amount of time or the same amount of opportunity, people like Liv Morgan and Carmella are not on the level of Finn Balor and Cesaro. Well, how the fuck would you know? How the fuck would you know? Because you have a 1.5 minutes.
How can they get there if they don't have the time?
Correct.
Here's the thing. Give them the opportunity, and if they fail, that's when they don't get another opportunity.
Correct.
Exactly.
It's not about gender here. It is about getting an opportunity to shine. And then if you fail and don't live up to that, then you don't get the fucking time next time. Sorry for swearing. But like it's like pisses me off that like women and like different kind of situations like this are constantly put in this bubble. And then we have to come in and be the savior and be like the ones like, no, we want women in this spot. Give it to us. And then WWE jerk us off for 15 minutes and say, yes, you're going to get what you want. And then they take it away from us again. So then we create another uproar and they can trend on Twitter for another couple of fucking hours. It's bullshit. And it shouldn't happen in any wrestling company. It should be just the constant equality thing that we're talking about. And then they go to places like Saudi Arabia, and I have no problem with entertaining people in different countries and different cultures. I think it's a good thing to a certain degree. But also when you're going to a place that is like this towards women and towards different kinds of lifestyles, I'll put it at that, and then you're trying to tell us that they're these big, saviors, and I think it's a good thing that women are getting the opportunity. But then to actually see it, and they do have to adapt to the culture, obviously, and stuff like that, maybe you should reassess where you're going. Because I don't think WWE are doing like the thing that they think they're doing is like, we're creating change. You're a wrestling company. Calm down.
And you know how upsetting it was on like Sami Zayn's end and even Shayna Baszler's end to go, well, they're not going to make it to the final because we know they can't go.
Yeah.
Like if you're telling me that your whole roster can't go, maybe you shouldn't go, right? That's where I'm at with that.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I didn't watch. I went back and I saw clips and I know what happened and things like that, but I didn't watch I had to, from the regular job, I had today off and I didn't make plans to watch it.
I was sound asleep.
Yeah.
Bitch, I wasn't getting up at 3:00 in the morning to watch that.
It's one of those things where like, regardless of what, for me, it's not. Like Josh said, it's good that they go. I feel good. I feel happy for the regular people in attendance there.
It does show women in that country that they can do more things, and I'm. It's bigger than wrestling in that respect, and I'm glad that we've gone from a time where there was no women's matches on that show to 2. That's a good thing. However, the landscape is a little bigger than just taking women over there and them having to wear 6XL shirts and have to wrestle covered and stuff like that. There's just something about that just, there's certain culture that kind of goes on there, and it's like, I don't know. It just makes me feel very uncomfortable. I think it comes from maybe the fact that I am a homosexual and they don't necessarily look at homosexuality so great in a place like that, and it does make me feel a little uncomfortable just to watch it. It just makes me feel a bit like, ooh. But like also like that aside, it's just very awkward. I don't know how else to describe it without it coming across as I'm just attacking to attack, and I'm not trying to attack, because I think there's good and bad in it. And I just think we need to assess that a little better. But not only that, regardless of all of that stuff aside, the Queen's Crown in general is nothing more than satisfying an audience to go, oh, we're giving you that, so shut the fuck up, basically, because if we had the King of the Ring and didn't have this, then you would attack us. So here's that, but then we'll just cram it all into, 19 minutes or something the whole tournament was?
19 minutes and 42 seconds, the whole tournament.
Even with today's match?
Even with today's match was the longest match in the tournament. And
5.5 minutes?
Like 5 minutes and 12 seconds or something like that.
Well,
and
yeah.
it brought the
And to
total of the
Josh's
tournament,
point, of course,
1942.
these women aren't on par with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar because their entrances were just as long.
Yeah.
Like,
But I'm not saying, it doesn't even mean like, okay, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, they're the main event. They deserve to have, they've earned that spot to be the one with the most amount of time. However, if you're
Speed racing, drag racing outside my window over here. Fast and the Furious.
If you're never put in a situation where you can get to that level, nobody, I don't care who you are, best wrestler in the world versus best wrestler in the world, Shawn Michaels versus Shawn Michaels, could not have a good match in a minute and a half.
No
way. That's not possible to have a good match in a minute and a half. It's just, I don't know. It's just,
yeah,
it just really makes me question everything that I believed in the last 6 or 7 years with WWE, and being like, hey, WWE haven't been in the greatest spot in the last however many years, but I know that I can confidently say their women are the reason I watch WWE. I'm not going to, regardless of the talent aside, I'm not going to watch these women if it's only going to be a minute and a half. Sorry. I just can't. I can't do it. It's just, what's the point? What is the point?
How can you invest in, like, there's no way to invest in that. Like, a lot of us like Liv Morgan. We want to see Liv Morgan do great things.
What the fuck's going on there?
Yeah, I know. It's absurd. And it's like, just the booking of it. It's like, okay, you know the crowd is behind Liv Morgan. You know this. You know this. So why is she losing in 2 minutes? Everything involved. Like, even the person who won, like, I like Zelina Vega. But Zelina Vega, when we've seen her on television, this is from more booking than, like, you know, the other stuff we've been talking about. But, like, she's lost 13 straight matches.
Yeah.
She lost 13 straight matches, and now all of a sudden she's the queen. And it's like, okay, like, what? Why would that? Just shows that nothing matters. It
just shows you that Liv Morgan is somebody who's gotten organically over without WWE trying, so therefore she's not allowed to be over. That is my opinion on how WWE books things. If you're not what we have in our brain to get over, then you're not allowed to be over. We won't hurt you by taking you and booking you to lose so often, but we will take you off of television. And that, I think, is worse than losing every week. Because at least you're on television every week and you're seen. If you're taken away, you're forgotten. And once you're forgotten in wrestling, you know how it all works. It's all downhill from there. So that's what I think about this kind of stuff. And no disrespect to Carmella at all, who beat Liv Morgan in the first round. I quite like Carmella. I think Carmella's kind of looked at a little bit downly upon by a lot of people. And I think she's actually better than what a lot of people say. But, like, you're being in this program with her, like, Liv and Carmella have been in a program for a little while, and she wins in a minute and a half, and the match they book is Zelina and Carmella in the semifinals. It's like...
And then you build up Shayna Baszler. You make Shayna Baszler look like Shayna Baszler for the first time since she's been lost to Becky on the main roster. And she's just dominating people, injuring people, doing this. And I like Doudrop. I like Piper Niven a lot more. You know, I like her. She's another top performer in the world. So I'm not upset that she made it to the finals, but you build Baszler to be this unstoppable monster, and then Baszler loses in 2 minutes to Doudrop. And it's like, okay, everything you just did with Shayna Baszler, you just erased because you made her look like a friggin' idiot again, the way that she lost to Doudrop. And what does a win like
we are
that?
Shayna Baszler stands on this show.
100%.
Oh my God.
I love Shayna Baszler.
She should be the female Brock Lesnar, in my opinion.
100%.
But they just do this.
And they had her going like, oh, all right, this looks like it might be good for like 3 weeks. And it's like, okay, wow. She's going to SmackDown. Maybe they're going to do something with her. And then it's like, nope, same shit. And then
Doudrop is another like thing though that like everyone looks at her because of the name, and you know it's not the character that we're used to. So therefore, the internet kind of dislikes Doudrop in that sense because she's dancing and having a good time and whatever. But like, I really think that Doudrop is a character that works on the main roster because she's kid friendly, and it's a little bit different. However, I don't think Doudrop should be winning by roll ups. Just putting it out there, Doudrop's a bit beyond, you know, snatchy little quick victories like that. And it just, like the Shayna Baszler stuff is like, for the last 4 weeks, you've taken out Nia Jax, taken out Eva Marie, Dana Brooke to a certain degree, and then you went to take out Doudrop. Doesn't that just tell me that the last few weeks is just kind of a waste of time for a dominant heel like that? Because the thing that a dominant heel can't do is be beatable. Correct. And you've just no. Scratch that. Beatable later, not in 4 weeks. Beatable by a roll up in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Then you can start to go like, oh, okay, like someone's finally taken her down. She got one on her. But like to do that in a 4 week build, I don't know how long this has been going on for. I feel like I'm the only one talking here, and I'm sorry. I've just got a lot built up with me about the freaking women's division
it's all good
in WWE.
I don't think we want to interrupt it, dude. It's all good stuff.
I don't want to take over your show with me just ranting about friggin'
I'm just like
women's division, but like it pisses me off because like I don't think I have to convince anyone how much I love women's wrestling, and it's the thing that I care about tenfold the most out of anything else. But like, it's just across the board really pissing me off because like it's not like AEW are doing that much better with how they book their women's division. It's not like they're doing that much more because there's an argument for Dynamite just having a women's match to have a women's match on the show, and that pisses me off just as much as shorts matches do. But like, what the hell is going on? Why are we in this spot in 2021 after the last 7 years of having women literally main event WrestleMania? We're now having a minute and a half matches like we used to. And I'm a stan of divas, but I don't want to get back into that spot where we have a minute and a half long matches. It's total BS. Total BS.
At some point, I don't think Shayna was there. I don't think she can go. I don't think she wanted to go.
Yeah, no, she can't. She didn't go today.
Yeah,
no.
So
can she? Nice. Is there something with? She doesn't agree or something with something?
Yeah, she's in the LGBTQ.
Yeah. Oh right,
so
yeah.
Goes, no, not for me.
I forgot for a minute. Yeah.
10 out of 10 stars, Josh.
I don't mean to take over. I feel bad.
Literally,
I'm stealing Astrid's airtime. I feel bad because Astrid's.
No, you're fine.
You said if I know Tim, but we were just saying.
It's just like you can't take your whole roster over to somewhere. Maybe you are promoting the wrong things.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not trying to just shit on a country because it's not the whole. I know it's not. The regular people that just live over there probably don't want these laws, but like obviously there's a culture and a society, and for different reasons. Again, I'm trying not to sound offensive, but like I am one of those people that can't go over to those countries because I could literally get killed. So like it's weird for me. It's just a very weird spot to be like, how do I watch this and try to be happy for things that are progressing, but also in the mindset of like, it is just wrestling. And they just get to leave at the end of the day. And there's a lot of people that are stuck in places like that. I don't know. It's just really weird. But like, yeah, obviously Shayna couldn't go. So I didn't even put 2 and 2 together.
Shout out to our buddy Throwback for the raid, by the way. What's up?
Oh, appreciate it. Throwback with your raid. Thank you so much, my friend. We got Goose saying, I heard that, every match was around 14 minutes. She goes, it seems like the Queen's Crown would mean a lot more if the winner had got there by grit and not winning 4 2-minute matches. 100%. 100%. And I think that goes back to, when they had the King of the Ring the year that Corbin won. right? Nobody really cared about Corbin that much at the time, blah, 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 blah. But in that tournament, they gave them time, and Corbin was having banger after banger. Like his had just ridiculous matches that whole tournament. So by the time they got to the final with him and Chad Gable, who also killed in that tournament, people cared about that final. People cared about that final. People were behind Gable. And when Corbin won, Corbin kind of got his props from people because he was having those matches. That's what the Queen's Crown tournament should have been. It should have been a Liv Morgan or a Toni Storm, or even if you want to go with Zelina, who cares? Whoever, it should have been that. Competitive, long, entertaining matches. So by the time someone wins 4 of them, it's like, okay, that person showed out in that tournament, and now I want to see where they go. Like now it's like, it's just disheartening. Embarrassing, kind of. It's embarrassing. But
it makes me really upset to be someone that's been waving that flag of like WWE do women best. They just do. And now it's like, no, they fucking don't. Nobody is really doing that great. In the 2 mainstream worlds, it's really not much to look forward to. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude.
Impact and the NWA Empower and when they do stuff like that. Like, I was gonna say, the Inspiration showing up on Saturday in a tag title.
R.I.P. Iconics.
I'm expecting them to win those titles immediately.
They
will.
I
feel like that's a shoo-in. They have to, right?
I'm gonna cry so much. I haven't seen them girls in 6 months.
That just reminds me that my brother and I make a joke when somebody signs with Impact, they get a title shot and they win. So
I do agree. Ring of Honor has gotten they had a great tournament with women as well.
We won't win. There it is.
Yeah.
And everything with Roxy Miranda, like having two Hispanic ladies and being basically the last match for that tournament. It's just incredible to think about, and nothing like that in WWE.
No.
And Cody. Nope.
Stop hitting buttons, Pluggo.
I'm sorry, I can't help it. I'm so sorry.
God.
I got buttons in front of me.
Jeez.
This is why we need Mighty Joe back.
I hope, but he says AEW will kill it with the TBS tournament because they've seen the backlash for this.
Put it on television. Do not put it on your YouTube channels. I'm sorry. I know they're trying to change the perception of what YouTube can be to a platform of wrestling, but I don't care. I am watching Dynamite and I'm watching Rampage. Give it time. Don't just give me one women's match a damn show. I want multiple stories. It doesn't have to mean that it has to be for a championship. I want more. Don't give me that crap that's like, oh, it's on AEW Dark, though. I'm not watching 16 matches in 2 hours. I have no interest. It's too much. I don't care.
They're all squash matches, too. Like, I would like Dark or Elevation to, throw a couple upsets in there just so you can go, oh, shit. Maybe I should tune in, but you just know what's going to happen. So, I hope that they do. I think they will. I think that they learned their lesson from the last tournament, putting it on YouTube, how it was not as successful as it could have been, and I think that they might have I think they bit off a little more they could chew with the AEW side with the overseas aspect of it and trying to coordinate it, because the Japanese side of the bracket, it just didn't look aesthetically pleasing. It looked like it was just thrown together. So I think this TBS tournament, if they want us to care about this belt, I think they're going to show out. I mean, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and hope, of course, that they're going to show out. Yes,
I hope so. But I think, and people in the chat, we do agree with Josh. It should be, give me 2 or 3, they have, 6-7 matches of Dynamite. Make 3 or 4 of those women's matches for a few weeks and give them the time and the segments to show us how good they are. And, if they do it that way and they treat it with care, then that tournament is going to be a success. And that first champion will mean something. And that's all we can really ask for. So
can I push a button now?
Yeah, push a button.
Hey, Cody, TK is showing up.
Yeah, he's in the process of showing up. WWE.
Hey, have you guys talked about? Sorry, I haven't been here for the whole I just had a glitch. Did you hear that? I think I just passed away in that sentence. What just happened? I just had a personal moment.
Go back.
Whoa, rewind. Okay, here we go.
Show over. Hit the music.
I don't know if you've talked about this already. You may have, but have we talked about Eric Bischoff's comments towards Tony Khan?
I have not.
No, but he did
the Silver Fox.
Shut up and wrestle.
I agree with him though, because sometimes Tony comes across as a little childish to me. Yes, I believe in competition, And yes, I believe in like people like being like, hey, we want to win. It's not, yeah, okay, cool. But like the way Tony says it is like, Eric is right. It's not like he's up on Monday nights against Raw. He's not. You're talking about two different demographics on a Monday and a Wednesday for the most part. You're talking about winning a demographic on a Wednesday versus a Monday. Okay, there's two different competitions for one. And I'm not saying that if they were head-to-head, I think AEW would blow the water with WWE at the moment. That's not what I'm saying. It's not a matter of what I think. It's a matter of you're kind of shooting guns with no bullets here.
Yeah.
Because just do what you're doing. You're clearly the better product at the moment. So just let your product speak for itself. Because it comes across as childish and it comes across as... It just comes across as like a little desperate for things that aren't the same thing.
Yeah.
Until you're head to head, until you're doing stuff like what Eric Bischoff said. He said, until you're if you're head to head, like people like, but Eric did it. It's like, well, he was head to head against Raw and he beat them for 83 weeks straight.
Yes,
he had a right to say what he was saying. Tony has gone head to head with WWE with NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Is that really the best way to really judge anything? I'm sorry, but NXT is developmental. It's clear that it's developmental, and it's clear they always wanted it to be developmental. You're the hot new product going against NXT. I don't know. I never was really one that was like, NXT's going to just beat the crap out of AEW here. I think it was set in stone from the start there, bud. But like, I don't care how much people hate me for saying this because they'll think I'm a WWE stan. I'm definitely not. I can tell you that. But like, shut up for 5 minutes. Just let your product speak for itself.
Yeah.
Just do that.
So JPJ and I have had this conversation a lot. So I'd like to deflect down to Astrid. Where do you stand on the shots being taken between the brands? Because I know WWE's taking some shots too. They're not innocent in this, but it definitely AEW leans heavy on it.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things that you should put the show and let the fans in the show speak for itself rather than you saying it. Because I feel like just defeats the purpose of you saying it again. Like, oh, I beat them. Okay, but keep going. Keep that momentum going. If you think your show was better, keep it going. But don't be like bragging about it online. That part, just like the one I'm like, I don't like that part of it. I'm like, I just watch the show. I enjoy it. I talk about it, but to be honest, I'm not a fan of like that. Oh, I did better than they did this week or whatever. But at this point, like, it looks like even he's going to, like, because I noticed, for example, they were posting like the same stuff, like a picture of Daniel Bryan. If you like the tweet, his beard will grow. And then they did the same thing with Sami Zayn on Debbie's account. I'm like, what the heck is this? It's just like, are you even arguing this way at this point? I don't even know what to think about it at this point between them.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I like it. I just think it's, especially when more on the wrestler side of things, like when the wrestlers are kind of doing back and forth, like I just think they're all just messing around and like just having fun with it. So like that part makes me like just laugh. And I think I laugh at the fact that they're just messing, because a lot of them are friends. So they're just kind of messing with each other.
Like the Sasha and Punk thing.
Yeah, like it was amazing when Sasha was like, it's clobber in time. And he was like, sure is. Whenever
it was like, I think they knew what they were doing, and everyone was just like, don't attack Sasha.
And I think that's the funnest part, is like you just see these people come out and they're like, oh, and it's like, dude, like they're what? Like they're laughing at you caring this much. You know what I mean? Like it's like, relax, man. Like they were being fun with
like she knew what she was doing when she wrote that, and he knew what he was doing when he wrote that. And I swear there's some kind of interject that they speak about it through who knows, or they just know like, okay, I see what she's doing. I see, because I don't think any of this problem with this WWE versus AEW stuff is the talent.
No.
The talent are just going out there and doing their jobs, and they're just having a bit of fun. It's the problem with me with Tony saying this kind of stuff is it then gives people, I feel like, the permission to then do it and make it toxic within the fan world, which is what I don't like. If Tony stops from, you're leading by example. So Tony's going like, let's fucking go, fuck yeah. And then everyone else is just like piggybacking off of it, and you can't write anything on Twitter without being like, you're a WWE stan, you're an AEW stan. bitch, I hate both of them at the moment because they're pissing me off. So
yeah, it's just, and to an extent, like when it comes to like, if we're talking last week specifically, and I think Drew, our friend Drew, said something about that I showed on the screen, like Tony doesn't need to do it as much as he does it. It feels like the last week and a half, it's been like So WWE made the decision first to run 30 minutes over, knowing full damn well they were going to try to take away Rampage audience. So that's when Tony was like, hey, fuck you. I'm doing this. Go F yourself. I'm beating you. I can't wait to beat you, right? So that to me was different. But you're right. And like they do need to, it doesn't need to be, I'm throwing my pen around. It doesn't need to be all the time. It feels like it's becoming all the time. And like, just it's like, okay, you don't have to do it all the time. Last week, I fully get it. They took the first shot saying, hey, we're going to try to do this. And then Tony was like, no, well, you know what? I'm confident in our product. We're going to beat your ass. We're going to beat your ass. And in the demo, they did. The 30 minutes of Rampage beat the overrun of SmackDown. Fine. I'm not a ratings person. I don't really care about it. But he called his shot, and at least for that 30 minutes, it worked out all right for him.
Also, there's like 1.3 together million viewers. That is not very good, by the way. They're under 1 million viewers for each show. That's nothing to fucking brag about. You're both doing pretty shit if you're getting under 1 million viewers. So maybe both look at the actual landscape of your competition and what's on television, because you're getting fucking buried right now by everything else. So before you start bragging about how good your ratings are and you got this in the demo, maybe look at what, I don't know, anything else on television is doing, because I'm sure it's beating professional wrestling.
Yeah, 100%. But oh man, wow.
Sorry, I just come in here and just shat all over this show. I was like, let's rant, bitch. Like, I was sorry about that.
No, this has been good, because this is all stuff. I'll ask you, have you seen, because I did want to touch on this a little bit. Have you seen the Renee Paquette video on the social media today about Vince chatting in her ear during, have you seen that?
I haven't seen that one, but she has talked about it before, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so there was a video, I believe it was from Oral Session. She had Ariel Hanwani on there, and Hanwani asked her, can you, without getting too juicy if you don't want to say anything, but can you give us a time where maybe like how it was to deal with Vince when you were doing commentary or whatnot? And she told a story. It wasn't when she was doing commentary. It was when she was doing a panel. And she told a story. It was when Tyson Fury was involved with WWE for that short stint when he had the match and stuff like that. She says that she was calling to a package, and she called Tyson Fury the Gypsy King. And they went to the package, and then Vince, in her ear, immediately started screaming at her like, you fucking ruined it. You're supposed to call him the lineal champion. Like, so that was the reason that she didn't call him the lineal champion. And according to her story, it's like a 2-minute clip. I would suggest you find it afterwards. But like, she's just saying that Vince is like screaming, you ruined it, you fucking ruined it, blah, blah, blah. You're supposed to call him this, you're supposed to blah, blah. And then she goes into detail by like, she had already done commentary at this point. She's kind of hardened to it. She's used to it. She's kind of over it. So she was just kind of with her head down looking at her papers. And then Vince angry because he thought she was ignoring him. So then he started yelling at her again, saying like, do you understand what I'm saying? Acknowledge that you understand what I'm saying. So she had to like look at the camera and say like, yes, sir, I understand. And she was like, having that happen in front of your peers like that was like super demoralizing. And that's the whole clip. Wow. And I know we've heard stories before. Mick Foley talked about it in a book about how he quit because he was like, I'm not doing this. You're not talking to me like that. But yeah, that just kind of came out today, and I heard it, and I was like, I think I retweeted it, and I was like, if I did this to anybody that works for me, I would expect them to go home and never come back. Because if that ever happened to me, I'd be like, okay, I'll see you later. I'll find something else. I'll figure something else out. And I'd be like, F you. I could not believe it. I could not believe it. And it's just
You wonder why people like you have someone like Renee Paquette, who I think is, since Mean Gene, the best interviewer, host, whatever you want to call, analysis, whatever you want to call, there's ever been since Mean Gene. And you have someone like that in your company for 8 years, you utilize them to the least of their abilities, to be completely honest. You have backstage interviewing and you have commentary, which was never Renee's strong suit. Renee's not a commentator. She tried it. I think she was a lot better than what people give her credit for. But you have someone like that, and then you scream at them like that in front of their peers. You wonder why they're on the way out of WWE, how she left, and why they're eventually probably going to get picked up by another company and be in a much better spot. And now you have, I just don't understand. There must be a reason why that role in WWE of the backstage interviewer, host, whatever you want to call them, goes like this. And like people come in, people come out, people come in, people come out. Charlie Caruso, another great one.
Yep.
And now, see you later. She's gone. Kayla will be gone next. And then we'll just go like this.
I love Kayla.
Kayla.
I love Kayla.
This is how it is.
Yeah.
Kayla retweeted.
Gotta be joking me, kid.
Kayla for the retweet.
Anyway, Josh, thanks for hopping on. That was a good.
Yeah, no worries.
That was a good bunch of ranting and good bunch of conversation there. So,
Heck yeah.
thanks for hopping on, chatting. What do we have left? The draft. Miss Astrid got to pick the draft topic. So
I'm gonna head on out.
all right.
But
Josh,
thanks
you
for
rule.
letting me
Before you
rant.
go,
And while Josh is here, yes. Yes,
Oh.
a new episode of the J&J Power Hour was released this morning over here
Had
in the States.
us. Well, I can't fucking do
That
it.
had
but, you know.
Astrid with us as a guest. We talked about our 5 favorite or most influential in our live groups or artists or bands. It was a really fun chat. As Drew says, buy Josh's shirts. They're comfy. Pluggo will lose this draft, I assure
Buy
you.
our
But
shirts.
anyway,
They rule.
yes, Josh, I believe you have a season finale coming this, I think, Sunday night for us.
Well, Sunday night for you guys. Yeah, Monday
Yeah.
morning for me, but Sunday night for you guys. It's the last Legacy of the year, guys. Legacy of Victoria, one of the all-time greats.
I love
Doesn't get
Victoria.
talked about enough. So we're going to be talking about Victoria. The last Legacy of until January 2022. I know that sounds like a long time, but it's literally like two and a bit months away. So, there's that coming up. There might be a special Legacy of on Saturday.
Oh.
It might be a little
Charlotte.
inspirational.
Oh. All
Maybe,
right.
maybe.
Hey-o.
But you didn't hear that from me.
All right.
Other than that,
Shield.
it's just, you can follow me here on Twitch. If you're watching here on Twitch, just go to Josh Robinson 00. I hang out a lot. Yeah, Twitter, my handle's down there. You can go and find the links to said shirts that Drew bought and didn't tell me, and then he put up a picture on Twitter. I was like, Drew, you little bitch, what are you doing? Buy my shirts. So yeah, you can go do that. Have fun with your draft.
Awesome.
What's
Astrid,
Astrid's
go ahead.
got it, so-
It's Astrid's pick, so go ahead.
Oh, technically not my pick. I've been working for almost 12 hours today, so I feel like I didn't have anything to think about. But my good friend Ed, always there to back me up. That's my big supporter. He suggested like big returns or surprise debuts for you guys.
So that should be a fun one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I because she's the guest and she was I took her airtime. I'm Team Astrid, so I'll leave you on that note.
All right. Josh, thanks for hopping in. Always a
No
pleasure,
problem.
my friend.
Peace out, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Later.
Much love.
All right.
Josh,
That was
coming in
fun.
with the running. Yeah.
Once
it.
once I saw the comment, I think Pluggo, obviously, once we saw the comment, he's like, I have a lot to say. We're okay.
We should
Well,
probably
you have an
run-
outlet, my friend.
We
Come.
should probably run that by future guests, like Josh Robinson is an open door policy here. Because, he's done so much for us over our time on this show and been on multiple times. So we just love him so much. So he come on whenever he wants. So sorry, Astrid, but no, we still got about 30 minutes or so to go. We'll do some draft. We'll talk it out. So what's the draft today, Astrid? What do you got going on? And you get first pick because you're the guest.
That is true.
Oh, I think I'm gonna pick a good one then.
Oh, God.
Pressure
All right.
is
So the
on.
draft is, and it's a 5-round draft.
Mhm.
So, and then next time you come on, we'll have the results out there on the Twitter machine. And then whoever wins will get to pick the next draft, the next time you come on, which will hopefully be very soon. Top 5 surprise returns or debuts. And this is all wrestling, wrestling companies.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Astrid, you are on the clock. You have the number 1 overall pick.
Well, I had to pick this one because it was probably special for all of us. So I had to pick CM Punk's return.
Mm-hmm. I feel like
strategy.
in my opinion, there's, it's the most recent. Well, it's not the most recent because there were a couple big ones that happened after that might make the list. But it's the biggest return that's happened in forever. As Drew says, and Astrid wins. So
we might as well just stop it now. Thanks for coming, guys. It's been fun.
All right.
Astrid out.
I'm going to take the second pick because you had second pick last week when we had our guest Phil on. So I will take the second pick, and I'm going to go with the debut of one Y2J, Chris Jericho.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That was back like
99, something like that.
Yeah, so the internet thing.
It was right around Y2K, man. Then he did the whole countdown, and The Rock was the one in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
It was the big deal. The lights went out, and the countdown, and Raw is Jericho. I believe that was in Chicago as well. So the first 2 picks have happened in the city of Chicago.
I was like, nope, not me.
No. Shout out to Phil Lindsay, who's from Chicago, who was on last week. We're just giving all sorts of Chicago love today. Well, since those 2 are off the board, Triple H's return to Madison Square Garden.
Oh, yeah. 2002? 2002. No.
It was a little after that. If he got injured. I'd have to look up the date. I'm blanking on the date.
I thought it was 2002.
That was like it was deafening. Like he returns and that place just went nuts.
Oh, I'm getting, yep.
Great JPJ, pick. Great pick.
That is what it is.
Nobody ever said, you know what? The artificial Pluggo, man. That was good.
Okay.
I
looked it up. Let's see. It was January 7th, 2002. I looked it up. There you go.
Okay.
I knew it.
I know stats.
All right. So we have the second round pick for Astrid on the clock.
I'm gonna end up cheating a little bit on this one. Sorry. So, I wanted to do the debut of Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky in the main roster.
They had the 2 different. They had the groups, right?
Yep.
All right. So we're doing
that's dirty play, Astrid. And you know what that says? She watches the show. I think we did a draft with Josh, who was on earlier, and it was women's wrestlers, and he took 437 of them. Mm-hmm. He was like all the fashions. That was her mom.
Yep. With my second pick, I am doing the Hardy Boys return at WrestleMania in the 4-way ladder match
in Orlando. I'm just saying.
Yep.
I was there.
That pop was ridiculous.
I contributed to that.
That must have been amazing. That's a live moment you'll remember forever. Mm-hmm. You'll remember that literally forever.
I had goosebumps. So. Let's see. Okay.
Pluggo.
I feel like I'm gonna lose.
Don't cheat and look at the chat either. Be organic.
Is there stuff in the chat?
Be artificial.
Actually, you are artificial, so tonight would be the night that you could just look at the chat.
So that's how I look at the chat.
Yeah.
I know this is going to be a bit controversial for my second overall pick, but I'm going based on like me popping for it, right? Ronda Rousey's debut at the Rumble. Okay. Like after that women's Rumble, she comes down. I was just like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, she's here. It's real. Like, because I try not to believe all the dirt sheets and everything. And so I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with Ronda Rousey's just all she did. She just pointed at the sign. She was done. She's ready to go. JBJ is already, it's him.
Don't let them get to you every week. They do it every week, Pluggo, and you let them get to you.
You know what?
every week.
I'm gonna mind my business.
Yeah. Be tough. It's all right. It's all right. Astrid,
Sorry,
third
okay.
pick.
I mean, throwback kind of spoiled it for me, but my next one was going to be Paige after winning the title like that. So that was my
There
The
you
night,
go.
after, the night after Mania,
Mania.
right?
Yeah.
Fun fact: and then she challenges AJ Lee, and AJ Lee was played by Zelina Vega in
Mhm.
Fighting with My Family, and that got more
Yeah.
airtime than the Queen's Crown.
Oh.
I still have that line, like she's like, because they had Zelina Vega play AJ Lee, and she's like, I'm gonna put my title on the line.
Yeah. I like the tone that she says it in. Like, Selena does it exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, she like nailed it, but I'm like, that's Zelina Vega.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I am taking the AJ Styles debut at the Royal Rumble.
So now who's looking in the chat?
What happened? Who mentioned that in the chat? I didn't see it.
Oh, it's in there.
Well, I mean,
Maybe.
I didn't see it. So
APJ is not a man of the fans. You heard it here first. That's how you.
no, that's not true. What? Come on now. Come on now.
That's how you twisted it right there.
Unbelievable. The disrespect. Okay,
That's
now I
right.
see it. That didn't pop up before.
Boom.
God. Pluggo, third pick.
Adam Cole,
Which one?
the one at
NXT or AEW?
AEW.
Hey, his NXT debut was
No, that was good too.
They attacked
But
McIntyre. That was come on.
Yeah.
That boom for the. I always go with the big crowd. It was huge, nasty. Just the full arena beats. I'm sorry, Full Sail. Love you.
No, I agree, and Cody agrees as well, and I agree with both of you. The Adam Cole debut in AEW was real good.
Mm-hmm.
You took that one from me, Pluggo. You're even now.
Wow.
You can throw some
jerk.
stuff too if you
What a
want.
jerk.
What is this? You know what? Yeah, you're right. That's right. Thick skin. I am a jerk. Deal with it.
Yeah. All right. Astrid, fourth pick.
This one's special to me because I was there too, so I definitely picked Balor in NXT.
All right.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Well,
Keep them coming, chat. I need some help. No, we got all really.
well,
good
the next
stuff
one.
in
The next one is
chat.
sentimental. Cody, no, I got that in the second round, man. I got them in the second round because I'm the best drafter alive.
That's why you're
Anyway,
watching
no.
Mighty Ducks.
This one is also sentimental to me because I was there. But I am going with the Shinsuke Nakamura debut at NXT Dallas and that fire match that he had with Sami Zayn. That was in a small building in downtown Dallas, a very small building. And when that match was happening and his music hit, when the whole presentation, like, that was like we talked about how you were there when the Hardy Boys came back, how you remember that forever. I will remember that forever. That's the first time I've ever seen him, obviously. I knew who he was. Yeah, that was yeah. So that's on my list as my fourth pick is that one. That was a live moment that I will remember forever. So
CM Punk returning 2011.
wait, after
When
2
he-
weeks?
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Yeah. He comes back with it sets up the best story, the best match, my favorite match in history.
That was a great match. It just should have happened at like Royal Rumble of the following year.
But still, again, back then, I'm not immersed in the dirt sheets. He leaves with the belt, which I thought was really cool. He got me involved. And he comes back with the belt, which they don't do that. You don't see that anymore. So it was a little premature, but the effect was still the dude left with the belt, comes back with the belt, gets in Cena's face. They're both holding the belt. Give me that. I just gotta get some CM Punk love because Astrid took my pick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, Astrid, last pick for you.
Well, I'm surprised you guys didn't pick it. I left it last for a reason, hoping you guys will pick it, but nobody did. So I'm gonna pick Bryan Danielson at AEW.
Yep. I feel bad because I don't want to go all WWE, but all my picks are going to be all WWE.
Well,
I
it's
don't.
not like AEW or anything has.
But I
them.
think there's one big one left from AEW that I don't think gets talked about enough because it's like people don't remember it as much for some reason. But I have to go with John Cena coming back at the Royal Rumble in Madison Square Garden as the 30th pick. Like that. And again, I was not a John Cena guy at the time, but like that was ridiculous. He tore his pec or something like that, or something. They said he was going to be out for like 8 months. He came back in like 3.5 or some stupid thing like that.
So
nobody thought, like, ridiculous.
I'm not going to pick it because I know who my last pick is. So what's the one that you're talking about? Because now I'm like super interested.
I think people don't talk about the John Moxley debut at Double or Nothing enough.
You're right. Yeah, no, that feels like years.
It feels like years and years ago, but like that was a pivotal date. Like he was the first defect. Like he was the first guy that was like,
I'm out.
That's like, yo, that's Dean Ambrose. Like that's a big deal. That's a former WWE, like a current former WWE champion that is now here. Like that was a big deal to me. That was my first round pick, second pick overall, Cody.
Yeah, so
I just feel like it's not talked about enough. That's all.
I'm gonna take. I don't know. I'm gonna ask because I always have these. The Fiend debut match at SummerSlam. Are we counting that? Like that was that whole thing was nasty. Loved it. He like snaps Finn Balor's neck. That's our first like real introduction to the Fiend. It's not these weird vignettes that don't really give us much. So I'm going with that. Because like that killed. I mean, this you could probably talk about forever. I mean, debuts and returns are just awesome, and I mean, AEW's
and Pluggo
killing it right now. And
our buddy Throwback in the chat, he's been saying the last couple things. He said Kane, the Kane debut. We didn't mention that. Undertaker debut. Like you could go all the way back.
Undertaker returning all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of loses its luster when it happens so much. But like Brock Lesnar coming back after a long time against Cena the night after Mania, that was a big return.
And when he F5'd him on Raw, like that was nasty.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I was gonna cheat and do the Shield when they debuted it because that was special
Shield
for me
debut.
at least. So
100% Shield debut, and those three guys are very much still three top guys doing what they're doing. Taz, yes, HCW mentioned that a few times. The Rock coming back.
I'm excited for Bayley's return.
I think Bayley's return. Now, she comes back as the heel Bayley, right? She comes back. Like I feel like she's going to come back and people are she's going to get the respect cheer. Like, oh, we missed you. Yes. We missed you, 100% Hall and Nash. In WCW. Yeah, exactly, Pluggo. Stop hitting buttons.
We need to figure this out off.
No, we don't.
All right, you just take it over. I'll just sit here. Here, if I tape
Mankind, Cactus Jack, and Dude Love. Yep.
I'll just do this, so I can't push buttons.
Our buddy Lawrence says he took the gobbledygooker 5 times.
Oh, the gobbledygooker, man! What a bummer.
Bob Backlund, yeah.
Yeah,
I think so too. I think she does come back as a heel. I think yes,
that was cool.
But I just feel like when she first comes back, she's gonna get that respect pop. You know what I mean? Like that. Oh yeah, we missed you. So I still think, even though her heel run, I think is the best.
Oh yeah.
I think it's the best she's ever been. But like that was a massive fumble on WWE that she did not become like the John Cena of the women's division when she was the hugger, that was like can't miss.
And admittedly, they fumbled her heel turn at first too, and it kind of took a few, almost 2 months to really take off. Like
it's crazy.
It struggled, but Bayley's awesome. I can't wait for her. I'll pop for that return.
Yeah.
I'll pop for Wyndham's return, Tim, if you're still watching. Hornswoggle in the chat. Yeah, Hornswoggle's always pops me when he pops up anywhere. When he popped up at the Women's Rumble, I was like chasing off our Queen of the Ring, Selena, all people. So
the Bret Hart WCW show, when his debut, that was really good.
Everything after that though was
not great. Not great. Cody says he'll pop for a Bo Dallas return. I would too. I love Bo Dallas. I have a Bo Dallas story. We're talking about like surprise. This was a house show, and it was in Boston, and Bo Dallas was out there, and he was doing his shtick, kind of doing his Bo Leave stuff, and then he started singing. He started singing a song, And I looked at the person I'm next to. I'm like, oh, who's coming out here to interrupt him? And we're throwing out names like, oh, Zack Ryder, Dolph Ziggler, like good guys that would come out. And I guess he must have been filming a movie at the time, but The Rock showed up. And it was a random ass house show on a Saturday afternoon. And The Rock just showed up. And he just came out, cut like a 15-minute promo, gave him a rock bottom, a people's elbow, and left. And I was so shocked that it happened that I had no reaction. I was like, his music hit, and I was like, what? Where am I? And then it was, oh my God, amazing.
This?
Absolutely
Zack Ryder's GCW debut was awesome.
Speaking of, GCW has a good show. Saturday night, it's Nick Gage versus Minoru Suzuki.
Is everything on Saturday now?
Well, so
That's awesome.
Dynamite's at 8. And Impact did a really smart thing of starting Bound for Glory at 10. That's really smart. They're in Vegas, so who gives a shit? It's going to be 7 over there, like whatever. And it's right after Dynamite. And then obviously GCW has a really good event going this Saturday as well. Yeah, Saturday night is a night of wrestling this week.
Wrestling is everything.
Wrestling is awesome right now.
But JP,
sorry, no go.
You reminded me of another one. I was also there when Sanity debuted, which is another one that really killed me.
All right, yeah. Man, remember Sanity? Another thing that they absolutely ruined.
Yeah.
I still miss Crazy Psycho NXT
Nikki Cross.
Yeah. It was so well done.
Yep.
And then they brought up Sanity, and they just completely destroyed. She's the only one left, and she's a superhero.
Yep.
And Carmella's the only one left of her group too.
Enzo,
although I did hear Enzo MLW.
I can't believe MLW of all places.
Yeah. Enzo Amore is going to MLW.
Speaking of it, MLW, and I'll put it out there.
Say it. It's our boy's birthday.
Alex Kane, happy birthday, bro. Former buddy, guest, whatever you want to call him, our guy, Alex Kane. Hopefully he suplexes Enzo into the crowd. Shout out to Alex Kane. Happy birthday, my man.
All right. Astrid, anything else that we didn't hit on during the show? You are the guest. Anything else that we haven't hit on that you wanted to discuss or bring up and chat about?
I mean, we kind of talked about it at the beginning, but I feel like we didn't kind of finish it because we ended up talking about the Queen's Crown. But I was thinking, like, who else you would have changed, I guess, or put in your top 5 for the PWI for the women's?
Now, this is admittedly, I admitted when we were going through it that I don't watch Stardom. So automatically, because of that, I can't have any Stardom people in my top. Like I just don't watch it. I can't judge them fairly. I would have kept Bianca 1. I just think she won the Royal Rumble. She was winning matches leading up to that. Won the Royal Rumble. Main evented WrestleMania. Was part of history with being, the 2 first African American women to main event WrestleMania. Then that match ended up being one of the best matches of the year. She won it. And then she ran the SmackDown women's division until they did what they did with Becky at SummerSlam. So to me, that's enough for me. I would have kept her at number 1. I can see the argument for Deonna because Deonna has been on a crazy run with the holding the Impact title for almost a year or just about a year, and she's the AAA champ as well. So she's 2 belts over there, and she's been on a dominant run. So I easily could have seen her getting the number 1 too. Then I would have had Britt. That's my top 3. And is Bianca, Deonna, Britt.
Trish Adora should have been there.
Yeah, again, I don't know where she is on the list, but she is one of the independent women's wrestlers that I always hear about. Like she's amazing.
45 in the PWI top 500 list.
Last year? She was 45 in the big one.
The big one this year. She was 45th, and she's not in the top. See, I know that they included the women in the 500. And a lot, like Trish Adora had a banger with Tony Depp in a 60-minute Iron Person match.
I did, yes.
So a lot of these, most of these women, I would imagine, aren't doing intergender stuff on the top 10. But I guess I'd have to bring on the people that make the list. Maybe I'll make some calls and blow Spencer's budget. But I always wondered how you could put Trish Adora, number 1 woman, in the 500 at 45 and not have her in your top 10 easily in your
Yeah,
women's 150?
That's a
'Cause
fair
she's-
question to ask.
You know,
I think I'm pretty sure that's a fair question to ask.
Mhm.
Astrid, what would you have made any changes? What would your top 5 be looking like if it was your list?
I know definitely would have kept Bianca in there, and Diana would have been for sure my second one. I think probably Britt would have been the third one, and then after that, I'm just like, it's tough to think about, with so many people going. I think Thunder Rosa would have been another good one because she's been, I feel like, all over the place this year compared to most people. And I think definitely Sasha would have been my fifth one, just because I feel like she's always giving great matches and good storylines. And I know even though she comes and goes every now and then, but every time she returns, I feel like there's a huge pop for her no matter what happens.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I have no qualms whatsoever with the top 10, how it is. I would have to go watch some matches. I know Utami, she's only like 23 years old, I think. So she's super young. She's the champion over there in Stardom, and she's basically already done everything you can kind of do in Stardom, and she's only 23. So I wouldn't be shocked if at some point maybe we start to see her somewhere circulating in North America or popping in somewhere, the Forbidden Door or whatever, because if she's 23 and she's already accomplished that much, like sooner or later, I think you're going to probably see her in a worldwide type situation. But yeah, one thing I did want to mention is I know Josh hopped on and we ended up like focusing on the Queen's crown, which I wanted to because we needed to talk about that. But the only thing that I honestly cared about that happened on Crown Jewel was that Xavier Woods won King of the Ring, and Xavier Woods did win King of the Ring. And if he did not, I think I might have quit WWE. I think I might have quit WWE. And that's nothing against Finn Balor. I love Finn Balor. I love Finn Balor. Look, it didn't happen. So cool. Like we get to see King Xavier now, King Woods, and I am all for it because if anybody can create a new, fun, creative spin on being the king, it's Xavier Woods. And I think that he is trusted enough that they're going to kind of let him be a little free with that. I think so. So I'm very excited about it. And I think I put out on Twitter, WWE released a video. It's like a couple minutes long of him talking about it behind the scenes. And he gets so emotional during it. Like you can tell how, and he's been very vocal the whole time about how he's wanted this since he's a kid. But it's a very, very touching video of him talking about it. And you can see how much it truly means to him. WWE tweeted it, so go to their Twitter. I retweeted it, so go to my Twitter. The handle's here. But watch that video. It is so good. It makes you feel good. It makes you, you don't really hear a lot of that side of things and how much it means to these people a lot like that, like real, like he got emotional. He was crying at points. Like it's something you should go out of your way to watch it. So I at least wanted to talk about that before we get out of here. How do both of you feel about, I was so nervous that they weren't going to do it. I was so nervous that they weren't going to do it, but they did. And I'm happy they did. So what do you guys think about King Xavier Woods?
Yes,
yeah, for sure. No, I feel like you have the perfect storyline set up there with him winning. So it's like, why would you go the other route? No offense to Finn, because I love Finn Balor as well. But I'm not sure if maybe I misheard, but do they get a title shot still? Because if they do, it will be interesting to see him against Big E as well. Because I'm thinking if they do that for the guys, are they going to do that for Zelina as well? Because why would you do one and not the other?
My thing is no, because they're going to SmackDown. Woods and Kofi are in SmackDown, so I think you could do it. I would love to see Xavier Woods and Roman. Yeah, I would be on. Obviously, Roman would win. I think Roman's going to hit that 2 years. I think they're going to have him go for a while. But I would love to see Roman and Xavier, and then you could run Roman and Kofi and have like Roman kind of go through both of them a little bit. Like I would love to see that if they are still doing that. I don't know if they are. I'd have to double check it, but
yeah, I don't remember them saying that they get a title shot if either one of them wins. Because I'm like, if Woods gets it, how come Zelina doesn't get it? Because I don't remember hearing Zelina will get a title shot if she wins.
Yeah,
because that would be interesting if she does as well after having all that losing streak, winning the tournament, and getting a title shot like that.
Yeah, and losing.
Yeah, so just like. Well, it goes some emotions for me.
They did some super. I mean, the Woods point. I think we're all in agreement. It's awesome. I think he was the perfect choice. He's going to do the most with it. Finn's already a prince. Doesn't need to be a king.
Yeah.
But Becky won today.
Becky retained. She did it by
So
cheating. She
the
grabbed
Raw
the rope.
Women's Champion is on SmackDown.
Yeah, so
they did the same thing.
That trade-off is coming.
If they do the swap, I'll throw more than when Astrid stole my CM Punk pick.
Well, here's the thing. If they do the swap, we're going to talk about it next week, and we'll invite Astrid back to hop in on a run-in, and we can talk about that. Because I have a feeling that's what they're going to do, and it's going to really piss me off. That is the dumbest shit of all time.
Because then that makes Charlotte...
Like, just make the belt. Just go, okay, this one's the Raw one now, and this one's the SmackDown one now. They're keeping the titles, but this is what they are.
Can you imagine if they count as a new reign for Charlotte?
They would. They did that with
They did that, though. They counted it as a new reign for New Day and Street Profits.
They should just, they need to do is they just need to rename the belts. It doesn't need to be...
I will not accept that.
It's an easy way to give her another reign, just like that.
No, I will write a strongly worded email. But anyway, all right, we got to get out of here. We have Cody and a few of our other Love Wrestling friends coming up and doing a G1 Finals reaction right after us, right here at 10.
Sorry,
pay attention to the product. Pluggo. What the hell? What the hell?
Oh, shoot.
Jeez. But anyway, no, we got time. We got all the time in the world. We're gonna get our plugs in. We're gonna thank Astrid. We're gonna have her back soon.
Yes.
We're good. We got minutes, man. We got time.
We're gonna create a fictional beef with Astrid and Josh.
Turnbuckle Talk. Thank you so much for the compliment, my friend. You guys kill it every week as well. Make sure you're following them, watching when they release here on Love Wrestling 2. It's usually Tuesdays now. Watch Turnbuckle Talk. I've been a guest on there multiple times. Great dudes, great show.
I love that show. I watch that show all the time.
Yep, HCW, thank you again. All right, Astrid, plug your stuff. What do you got coming up? I know you've had a busy week already, but you got anything else coming up you got to plug before we get out of here?
Probably Saturday Reacts if I do it, if they let me do it, I guess, to end my week off, the highlight. I know I was in the J&J Power Hour this week, so that's exciting and new for me. And then being here tonight, so this is exact call that Astrid week, which is going to be over on Saturday. I hope I can do it again.
Oh, keep it going. Astrid month, Astrid year.
I'm exhausted. Pluggo, anything coming up your way? Are you just chilling? We coming back next week, hopefully. I think tonight was
chilling.
we didn't cross any boundaries.
Birthday tomorrow, so I got the weekend. We're gonna party. Other than that, no, we'll figure some stuff out. We took you and I took a little bit of a break from the specials. We were throwing out some specials there.
We were, but people need to sleep. We need to sleep occasionally. Astrid's like, I know.
But you never know when you'll see me pop up on Love Wrestling whenever I'm called upon. But this is usually where I'll be on Thursdays. All
right.
You'll see me next Thursday. For
sure. Be on the lookout this weekend. The last couple of weeks we've had to skip the weekend elite reports. Life has gotten in the way a few weeks, but the franchise, Matt and I will be back this weekend, most likely Sunday morning at 9 a.m. However, we might be working something out that maybe we do a live watch along, possibly during Dynamite on Saturday. I don't know. We're working through it. Yeah, maybe if you're watching, hey-o. But that's a maybe. But we'll at least be back in some form this weekend, so be on the lookout. Stay here on this channel, G1 Final Reacts, right now in a minute as we're signing off. But give us a subscribe, a like, a thumbs up, all of it. Follow Love Wrestling. We're doing really good things. Thank you, everyone, for hopping in the chat. And until next week, peace out.